What if everything you've ever been told about your DNA is only half the story? What if the key to reprogramming your very biology isn't buried in a lab or locked behind genetic engineering, but hidden inside words? No, this isn't science fiction, and it's not just some spiritual metaphor. This is real, verified by a growing number of researchers who believe your DNA responds not just to chemicals or mutations, but to sound, to frequency, and most shockingly, to language. Imagine this. Every word you speak sends out a vibration, a frequency. Now imagine that frequency isn't just bouncing into the air, but interacting directly with your cells, your genes, your code. A controversial group of scientists in Russia, led by Dr. Peter Gariaev, discovered something wild. DNA behaves like it can understand language, real language. The structure of genetic code mirrors the structure of grammar. That's not a coincidence. They believe that under the right conditions, words, spoken with intent and precision, can rewrite the very sequences of your genetic code. Crazy? Maybe. But what if it's true? Before we go deeper, I want you to do one thing. If this idea already has you questioning everything you thought you knew about biology, hit that like button, because we're about to go much deeper, and it gets even stranger from here. Here's where things take a sharp turn. In controlled experiments, Russian researchers used specific frequencies, modulated with language, to influence DNA strands in vitro. They weren't injecting chemicals. They weren't altering genes in the traditional sense. They were using spoken words, calibrated sound waves. And what happened? The DNA responded. It reorganized. In some cases, it healed itself. Let that sink in. Words, not surgery, not drugs, triggered real, observable biological change. And it's not just one experiment. Similar results are appearing around the world. In Japan, Dr. Masaru Emoto's work on water crystallization showed how words and intent shape the very structure of matter. Water exposed to loving, peaceful words formed beautiful, symmetrical crystals. But water exposed to hatred or anger, it turned chaotic and broken. Your body is over 70% water. Do the math. If words can alter water, and DNA responds to vibration, then what do you think happens every time you speak to yourself? Every thought, every affirmation, every insult you whisper under your breath. What if you're not just expressing emotion, but rewriting the very code that defines you? Stick with me, because we're about to explore how this idea could change the way you think, speak, and heal for the rest of your life. And hey, drop a comment right now. What's one phrase or belief you repeat to yourself every day, whether positive or negative? Your answer might unlock something for someone else watching this. Let's talk about resonance. Every cell in your body vibrates at a specific frequency. It's how biological systems communicate, how your heart talks to your brain, how your immune system knows when to respond. But here's the twist. Those frequencies aren't fixed. They're reactive. They respond to their environment, and that includes the frequencies carried in your voice. Now imagine this. Certain words, spoken with the right rhythm, tone, and intention, can align or disrupt those cellular frequencies. That means your internal biology can literally tune itself based on how you speak. This isn't ancient mysticism. Military research has explored using infrasonic and ultrasonic frequencies to influence brain states. Advertising companies already use subtle sound cues to affect emotion and behavior. So what happens when you take control of that power and use it on yourself? Could you heal trauma, reverse stress, improve your immune response? We're not saying it's magic. We're saying your biology might be far more programmable than you've been told. Now, if that idea resonates with you, pun intended, go ahead and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe a friend going through a tough time. This could be their turning point. There's something even more powerful than words themselves. Belief. You see, Words without intention are like arrows without direction. But when you believe in what you're saying, when emotion backs your voice, those vibrations carry weight. And according to some researchers, that's when real change begins at the molecular level. Think about it. When monks chant mantras, or when someone prays with deep conviction, they're not just making noise, they're directing focused energy toward their biology. And it turns out, your DNA might actually be listening. A study out of Germany showed that cells exposed to emotionally charged speech had different reactions compared to cells exposed to neutral speech. That means your tone, your belief, and your emotion are all part of the biological equation. So here's the real question. What are you telling your cells every single day? What programs are you running without even realizing it? Because here's the truth. Your internal dialogue is either your medicine or your poison. Before we go further, I need your voice, literally. Drop a comment below and tell me, if you could rewrite one part of yourself, emotionally, physically, genetically, what would it be? Reading your answer might just change how someone else sees themselves too. Let's go even deeper. What if some ancient languages were never meant for communication, but for activation? Sanskrit, Hebrew, Aramaic, Tibetan. These languages have unique vibrational structures, patterns that resonate differently in the body. Their words are built from phonetic roots that, when spoken correctly, create specific frequencies within the human system. Sound far-fetched? Not to researchers studying vibrational linguistics. Some claim that ancient chants, passed down for millennia, were designed not just for prayer, but for triggering dormant potentials in our DNA, like vocal keys unlocking hidden doors within the body. One study found that certain sacred syllables, when repeated rhythmically, caused measurable shifts in the electromagnetic field around participants. Others reported altered brainwave states, emotional releases, and even spontaneous physical healing. What if the ancients knew something we're just rediscovering? If you've ever had a moment where a piece of music or a single word gave you chills, made you cry, or filled you with energy, then you felt it. That's not imagination, that's resonance. And if you're still with me right now, I know you feel something too. So here's what I ask. If this topic stirs even the slightest curiosity in you, subscribe now, not just to follow the channel, but to go on this journey with me, because in the next parts, it gets even wilder. Now imagine this. Every time you speak, your body listens. Not just your ears, not just your brain, your cells, your tissues, your genes. Every part of you is constantly absorbing vibrational data and interpreting it as instruction. You tell yourself, I'm tired, I'm broken, I'm not good enough. And guess what? Your biology takes that seriously. It adjusts accordingly. Cortisol rises, immune response weakens, healing slows down. But what happens when you change the script? What if you started feeding your body a different story? I am healing. I am whole. My cells are vibrant and aligned. Science now confirms that positive self-talk isn't just motivational fluff. It literally reprograms your neurology. Neuroplasticity, epigenetics, vibrational medicine, all pointing to one undeniable truth. You are not fixed. You are adaptable, rewritable, and language is your primary tool. If that hits home for you, do one thing. Hit like, not just to support the video, but as a signal to yourself. A small action that says, I'm ready to take control of what I speak into my body. Your body remembers more than your mind does. Every trauma, every emotion, every word ever spoken to you in pain or love, it's all stored. Not just in your brain, but in your tissues, your cells, your nervous system. Scientists call this cellular memory. And here's the wild part. It can be rewritten. How? Through repetition, through emotion, through sound. Therapists working with trauma survivors often use guided affirmations, tonal breathing, and somatic vocalization to access and reprogram these buried patterns. In some cases, clients experienced full emotional release after speaking healing phrases out loud, sometimes phrases they had never believed before. I forgive myself. I am safe now. This pain is no longer mine. Those words, when spoken with intent, became code, not just symbolic, biological. Think about that. The same way trauma enters the body through experience and repetition, healing can enter the same way. You just have to change the message. So here's your moment. What's one phrase you've needed to hear your whole life, but never did? Type it in the comments. Speak it into existence. Make it real, for yourself, and maybe for someone else who reads it. Most people don't realize they're programming themselves every single day. Not with computers, not with apps, but with language. Every casual sentence, every "I can't," every "I'm always sick," every "I'm not smart enough." It's code, spoken without thought, but received by the body like a command line. And here's the dangerous part. Repetition turns belief into biology. You've probably heard of the placebo effect, how belief in healing can trigger real recovery. But did you know there's also a nocebo effect, where belief in illness can make you sick? That's not just psychology, that's bioenergetics. Your belief system, expressed through your words, creates a feedback loop that either builds or breaks your biology. So ask yourself, what have you been speaking into your system lately? Encouragement or erosion? This is where real change begins, not in massive actions, but in microscopic moments. The tiny words, the quiet inner voice. If this truth hits you like it hit me, take 3 seconds right now to subscribe. Not for numbers, but for commitment. Because if you're serious about rewriting your code, this is the first step. You're casting spells every day, and you don't even know it. The word spell comes from the act of spelling, of arranging letters into words. So what if the real magic has always been hidden in plain sight, in your language? When you say, "I'll never change," you're not just expressing frustration. You're binding yourself to a reality. When you say, "I'm healing," even if you don't fully believe it yet, you're opening a door. Words aren't decorations, they're decisions. Your DNA is listening, not passively, actively, responding to every instruction you give it. And because your biology is adaptive, it's constantly rebuilding itself based on the instructions it receives. This isn't about toxic positivity. This is about precision, choosing your words like you'd choose code for a delicate machine. Because that's exactly what you are, complex, responsive, and programmable. So here's your invitation. Starting today, choose your words like they matter, because they do. Choose phrases that nourish, not drain. Speak in a way that builds the reality you want to live in. And if this message stirred something inside you, even just a little, share this video with someone you care about. Let them feel what you're feeling right now. This kind of shift is contagious. Now you know. Every word you speak, every phrase you repeat, every thought you give voice to, it all matters. It's all information. It's all instruction. And your body is listening. Your DNA isn't a fixed code written once and left untouched. It's an ongoing conversation between who you are, who you've been, and who you're becoming. You're not just a passenger in your biology. You're a participant, a programmer. The power to heal, to grow, to transform. It doesn't lie in some distant lab or rare mutation. It begins here, in your mouth, in your mind, in the words you choose to echo through your system. So ask yourself, what reality do you want to speak into existence? And now, I invite you, no, I challenge you, to do one simple thing. Scroll down and type one sentence. Just one. A sentence you want your cells to hear. A sentence you want to live by. Because once it's spoken, or written, it begins. And if this video stirred something deep in you, let it ripple. Like it. Share it. Let someone else awaken too. Because the truth isn't just hidden, it's already inside you.